some material may be inappropriate for young children. Parents may wish to...
Oh, the doer.
Debbie. Hi, Sean. How are you?
He asked me something's going on with all these cars.
Well, I'm sure he's going. There's Papa. There's Papa.
Where's
Papa's
the
coming.
man?
He says full name right down here. And you stay here.
He don't know what time it is.
Papa's coming.
We've got a lot more. Brother made that.
Hi, George.
I recorded you so hard.
Surprise! Hi, Granddad.
Take one thing. We're using an excuse for 15 parties. They're going to get something to happen. They won't eat that.
Check it out, it's up. It only happens one time.
Where's the mother at?
Let's go north. I saw her right by. Look out front.
I'm Don. Don Gary. Oh, 1 hour? Oh, okay, nice to know you. Thank God I'm glad to meet you.
Joe, we need another camera.
There's a lot of faces here.
Congratulations.
Hey, this isn't a retirement party. It's a... Mr. Gardner, it's an Orioles victory party.
Watch those presents. How you doing? He looks better. On the neck. Very strange day. Hey, I know this surprise. I know this surprise is coming down here today. It certainly is. Because everybody was saying yesterday was enough. Everybody was saying yesterday, hey, I'm congratulations. I didn't hear anything. But you didn't hear much. Oh, Mr. Morris, how are you? I just see you.
All those kids are really, that's like before I leave, I want all the kids take care of one line. Or maybe here's the one that's old school.
Hi, Rita.
Overnight?
Who's driving? 25 miles an hour on the Beltway. You know what he told?
Oh, it's lovely.
We're out right here.
This is a very democratic family to see one person run. Hands for your hair. We've done this one, right? Yeah, people, that's the stage of them.
Watch your language if you're on tape. Don't see any of those four-letter words.
That's all right. We'll find another spot.
He left? Yeah. Hey, girls, if we were saving that for Grandma and Granddad, right there, there's two chairs. Can we find some more? Well, we're going to use two. Not now. These girls will have it. Hang out with that. You guys, Grandma.
Mom, come sit down. Those chairs. What's that for the kids?
I think, no, that one's yours. Move it over here. There we go. This is for Grandad. All right. Now, where'd he go?
Hey, Don. Where's center stage?
Somebody's taking place.
Virginia? Mary? Mary? Mary?
Where's center stage?
That's Virginia. Mary? Don't you have a chair?
Virginia. Where's center stage? Where is it? This is up. Maybe I should get over here. Direct shot.
Come on, Ben.
Maybe chair, I think. No, I don't know.
Not having a thing. What name?
Watch your language.
What name? What name? Probably all the spell. Right beside his wife.
Now you're on
Morris.
You got a spot, Don?
The tongue gave me a present. Where our
You
friends
look
sit.
good in it.
It's where our friends.
They're going to be over here.
Who?
Oh, you directed this car, Michael. I'm telling you.
Oh, right down in front.
Yeah,
He's going to be sitting right
Well, what's the
beside
stage
yours.
for?
I don't know. You don't like it.
Joe put that chair there.
Why don't you get up on that table? Don't like this. I just let it happen.
Look, he's coming.
I know, Virginia.
Donnie. Donnie.
You're okay in the ground, you just little kid.
Everybody, if you were down at the retirement luncheon they had yesterday for Dad, everybody knows it was very formal. They praised him on all the years of hard work, dedication to his job, and made a bunch of people down there, made their lives better, and we all know he's made our lives better. So this is not exactly what you would call formal. This is what's better known as a roast. So everybody will have their opportunity, but a few of his non-favorite children here have gotten together and decided to roast him the way we'd like to. And of course, one of the favorite in-laws is Nancy. So Nancy's going to start this off with a very nice poem.
Better be taping this.
How I look at the family.
Better be taping this.
At least you're not sweating yet, Don. Okay.
Read it.
Today's the day for Donald to say, oh, how happy Mars will be. Though the days may appear to be long, but this will make their marriage strong, we hope. Going cross-country was the real test, but they both came back and only needed rest. Looking back at the past can make anyone want to gasp. Oh, how hard it must have been back then, We're only glad there were not 10. With 9 children, it's not easy to cope, especially when the last one needed so much hope. First one born was Maureen, even though she's rarely seen. The second born was a boy. Ronnie was Don's pride and joy. Virginia was the third to birth, but a radical was needed here on earth. Liz was the fourth to the Gardner fleet and always known for tremendous speed. Don E. was the fifth on the continuous list, but first to enlist and most often missed. Bill was the sixth, but third of the boys. It may take a few drinks, but he does make some noise.
Bill says they're getting even.
Thank you, Bill. Joe the seventh, the luckiest of all, for he rode with Don on a daily call. The ride to work was usually quiet, but coming home was sometimes a riot. For when they reached the Verna Park, they wouldn't stop talking until it got dark. The stories pass from day to day, and will be missed by Joe in a way.
Finished telling all the stories?
I don't know.
We don't have enough time for that.
Okay, Kenny the eighth, but the fifth male, was the first to make a career of the hammer and nail. Okay, this second page is about Mike. Now, for after 8, we're out of the nest, Mom and Dad had taken a rest. For there was Mike, the last one they had, and also the favorite of Mom and Dad. So some claim. But Mike, like his dad, in a number of ways, can tell you a story in a few days. But if the days become too slow, you have 25 grandchildren to really get to know.
Obviously, an in-law with that much talent. Now, during the course of this, you're probably going to deny a few things that you hear, but you know, when we were growing up, people used to talk about how much money they had or how much they didn't. But we got together and talked about the fact that how poor were you? How poor were you, Donnie? Well, we were so poor that when we had 4 rooms and a path, and as the story goes, the door fell off the front of the outhouse. And because Dad was busy at the time, rather than repair it, did you turn the outhouse towards the woods? Is that where this So it is. We couldn't afford the outhouse door, so we were pretty poor. The next thing we have here is this is basically a day in the life of Don Gardner during his career as going to work. So the first thing we have is a representation of Don getting out of the bed in the morning. Now, not all of us are personal enough to know what it was like for Dad to get out of the bed in the morning, but if you've ever witnessed this, you know what we're talking about. So we have an in-law to demonstrate. Now, they picked the only in-law that hasn't lived with Gardner to do this. This isn't totally fair. And he's proud to point that out.
Very proud. Very proud.
Hey, Gardner, Crespo's been accused of beating you twice today.
Twice?
From a distance.
Well, I think the hat off was better.
Nah, the hat's on. That's more
You look older. Don's waking up in the morning, okay?
There's more.
Obviously, we're pretty close.
Mark, where's my brand?
Now, obviously, that was a little exaggerated.
Oh,
Now,
I don't think so. No, that was...
Is Dad really waking up? I swear, you look in there, you're really not quite sure, you know. But anyways, after Dad gets out of bed, you know, basically it's up. He's usually up before the rest of us, and kind of got moving around because he started so early. And another one of the little things that he did every day was have breakfast. So Cindy's going to demonstrate those that have been for Don's breakfast.
Notice the favorite bowl. The favorite bowl. Notice the time of morning. 6 a.m.
No harder, Cindy. Hit that bowl now.
And we're the freedom. Anyone that has lived here, and many of us have lived here, has heard that sound. Sometimes we were afraid it would wake the kids up. But
What do you mean sometimes?
mornings won't be such a chore for getting Don out the door. For 6 a.m. to take its toll with that continuous spoon hitting the bowl. A disturbing noise that this can be, and an act you really won't want to see.
Okay. Well, Dad, you know, this is a roast, right? You knew that. You getting hot now?
Okay. You don't have any chance to come back on this. You don't
That's good.
Get it.
Never gets through.
It seemed like
Kind of a lead into this is, Dad had, Dad had Mr. Martin down the road. I think they rode together for about 17 years, and
Seemed like 17.
yeah, it seemed like 17. One of the things that we realized is that riding with Dad in the morning, there's not a lot of conversation. So that's what this skit is about: conversation without speech. As soon as our actresses get up there.
That's right.
And the cloud's not closed. Yeah, there you go. You're going to pick up Mr. Wagner right now.
Very slowly.
You're going too fast. So, here we have about 6:30 in the morning. It's cold outside. There's frost on the windows. The windows are cranked all the way up, and the heater is beginning to heat up. So as they're cruising along, the temperature of the heater starts to warm up a little bit. Dad doesn't say anything, but Dad thinks some things. And of course, Mr. Wagner, having driven together for so long, you know, he thinks things also, but there's no sense in having a conversation. they're going along now, the windows are completely down. Neither one of them is saying anything to either one, but they're still thinking. And of course it was a German Shepherd, so, you know, Bob considers that, Now, you have to realize that when they get to work and they get out of the car, and now is about the time that they discover the cause of the odor. So, of course, Dad looks down and he says, and Mr. Wagner looks down and says, we don't decide whether these stories are totally accurate or not. That's accurate. And okay. Now, you know, when Dad got out of the car, I'm sure that he looked down and realized that there was dog doo-doo on his shoe, because Dad has a unique way of expressing himself and getting his point across, and every now and then, like a lot of us, we tend to overuse some words, but Dad taken off from George Carlin here, the 7 dirty words you can't say on television. Well, we have 7 dirty words that Dad says. And now I don't know which ones of these are used the most or whatever, but I'm sure we've all heard them. How about son of a gun? That's pretty close. That was son of a gun. This one I always was interested in. What the Sam Hill? I was wondering what Sam was going on the hill, you know? Oh my gosh. Now, you know, again, I'm not sure how often he said these. Golly days, that's pretty close. Gosh darn it. And this is one that we really can't, a dadgummit. Now, if you were counting, that's 6. And what going along with it, we needed 7 dirty words, so we have a little bit of a visual here, if I could have my helper come over.
And his lovely assistant.
Now, as the story goes, one of the sons is standing around in one of the watering holes having a Coca-Cola, and all right, so it wasn't a Coca-Cola, but he was standing around. He's talking to a guy, and he says, "Gardner, is your dad Don Gardner?" He says, "Yeah," and he says, "Well, you know, that guy, I worked with him, and he was standing over there at a lathe machine one day using a ball-peen hammer, and he reached back and he let that hammer go, and he hit his." And now, for the is there some truth to this, Ed? Jiminy Crickets? Jiminy Crickets, yeah. That says a lot. That says a lot. Now, you know, this is a roast for Dad, but you have to realize that sometimes that Margaret gets involved in this a little bit. I'll probably get in trouble for telling this story, but it involves me, so if anybody can tell it, I can tell it. One morning I woke up and I came downstairs and I needed new shoestrings. Well, Dad going out having shop somewhere, he bought this package of shoestrings. And he put them up in the closet, and I think there was something, as the story goes, there was something said about... Who said that? By Hemstetter. There you go. Okay, so... we heard he bought them. I needed shoestrings, so Mom reached up into the cabinet, picked out a bag of shoestrings, and gave me one. So how do you start them? You lick them and you put them in your shoe, and they tasted pretty good. And they kept breaking, though. So before long, we were eating them, and Mom came out and realized that we're eating all the shoestrings. So. Well, that night at dinner, as I remember it, we're sitting around, and the conversation came up, and Dad's laughing a lot harder than he is right now. Mom wasn't laughing. Mom didn't laugh about that for years. She might not laugh about it right now.
She better.
I'm sure she would. Speaking of buying things, everybody kind of thought Dad would go out and have bought different items over the years, and we know what a consumer he is, and so that kind of leads us into the next one here.
I was elected to do this because I'm the one who went Christmas shopping with Dad for years. Christmas shopping with Dad is an experience. We usually start well,
I'll let her do it.
if you've ever had a present from Dad, a great deal of thought has gone into it. A lot of time has gone into it. But I gave that job up a few years ago because I was getting on in my years, so I turned it over to Nancy, who has a lot more energy than I do, and she can keep up with Dad. Or keep him straight, I'm not sure which it is. But I decided to buy a VCR, so I decided to follow Dad's research method. So I checked with every video store in the area, asked them what kind to get, what's the best kind to get. I read all the consumers' reports. I talked to everybody I could. Beta. Beta is absolutely the best one to get. So, Dad, I have my Beta VCR with my 8-track tape.
That they don't make anymore.
And here's a little present to go along with it.
Come up, Don. Come up here, Don. No.
Can you say
Well,
that?
this is just a little present. We hope that Don will start his first love sport, which is golf. And we bought him a golf ball here, multicolored golf ball. It's called the unlosable golf ball. And there's a miniature transmitter on its side, and it says, to activate after a bad swing, repeat the following. What does it say, Don?
Repeat twice.
Well, we'll say right there.
Dirty Philoramic pack of leaders.
Right. Right. And then you repeat that twice if it's a very bad swing. So, go ahead and open it up.
Charles, you want to copy of this?
Yeah. Depends on whose tape it is.
Rip it, Dad.
We're not saving the paper, Don.
I might need it for
This is based on Elizabeth's research and Don's supreme guidance of the right.
That's a water bowl.
All bidar.
I've never seen a golf ball float yet.
Out of golf. There you go. Golf Digest for a lifetime swing.
Right.
Beta.
And it's in beta. But he has VHS. So you can come to our house anytime that you want.
And rent.
We'll let you watch that.
It's like
You
college.
can
You
rent it,
carry
Don. You
spears.
can't use it. You have to rent it.
Elizabeth, isn't he the one that took 9 months to pick out his tennis shoes? How long did it take him to pick out his car, Mike?
8 months and 18 months for the car. Well, speaking of stories, as the stories go, I wasn't telling this, and I didn't hear it until we got together for this, but it's a pretty good story for Dad. He never goes out to buy anything unless he has researched it. And of course, if you sit down and you read any of the magazines or go through any publications, you're probably going to come up with more information than most of the salesmen you meet in any one of the stores. So Dad has his paint picked out. He knows all the specifications about it. And he goes in there and he starts talking to the salesman. And as the story goes, the salesman was trying to tell Dad all the information about the paint, but Dad did know more than he did. So as it goes, Dad looked at him and said, "Son, shake your head up and down." He says, "Now shake it side to side." He says, "No, I don't hear anything rattling." It's a true story. Okay, so we didn't miss that one. And let's see if we're ready for the next one. Well, we have a great deal of smoke over here. And
the basement. The basement. I worked on the basement. I guess we all worked on the basement, didn't we?
I don't know what it is either.
Hey, Don, you never wore red socks in your life, did you?
What's wrong?
I told you to bury that cat.
You get a picture of how hard your father laughing at
That's how Carmichael always got me in trouble. Mark.
That bird.
Come around here. Why don't you let the kids go and have? I think you're worse than kids are. I really do.
You said you buried the cat. You
Buried
did?
the cat, burned cat.
You didn't kill the bird. It came back to life.
Where is
I just heard it.
Cat's been buried. Don't worry about the cat.
Sarah.
I don't want no dead burn animals around the house. Pick up every stray thing.
Okay. We're going to have to get George to explain the details of this story.
Don buried Elizabeth.
You never told me that story.
While they were eating supper, the cat came back and was falling on the screen.
He took it down there and put it on.
The children were too young to remember, but Don had an automobile that smoked. And every morning for 4 months, When I came around the corner, I looked to the left, and there would sit Don. I'd back up the street. We had a ready-made table. I'd hook his car. I'd pull him off. Don would go his way. I'd go mine. Don said, I'm going to do something with that bad burn car one of these days. So finally, he pulled it under a shade tree around the corner, and you could take a dinner knife and slide down between the pistons and the cylinder wall on all 6 cylinders.
Yeah.
Let me get out of here.
Well, did he ever shoot the car and put it out of its misery?
That's the truth, too.
But we don't have time.
Okay, what we decided was that a lot of these stories have been told about Dad and his working days, and of course we all know the reason for this gathering is he has retired. And yesterday down at work there was quite a few people that weren't really sure if he was going to retire. So what we're going to start off with here is because you are a person who is retired, you must have a lot of extra time. So we've identified a few ways of helping you with your extra time.
13 grandchildren took care. Did everything you can?
Okay, in an effort to keep Don on his toes, we decided to make him the manager of the expo. And there's a sports calendar with all the events of all the grandchildren all over the county. May and June. The actual events.
I'm going back in Monday morning to see if I go back to work.
And we're not finished here, though.
Excuse me, Granddad. We have one more.
Oh, here we got it. Jiminy. Thank you, guys.
Hey, June, July, and August,
Dad, read the top of it.
We really had a great ball game today, I hear, right?
14 to 11.
14 to 11. Boy, that was some game. These guys are just getting started. And they're hitting that ball like crazy. Oriole flying around. Try to find out how to... Hey, Paul.
Good job.
Thank you.
Good job. Good job. Tell them, Carrie.
There. Otto.
Granddad will give you a kiss, Gary.
Otto. Otto. Gary. Behind you, right here.
The two calendars are, one is for the sporting and activity events, and the other one is for babysitting. We have small business cards. They're at the printers. They'll be here soon. Don's babysitting services. There are some things that after retirement change and some things don't. We decided that as a group, doubtful that Dad's going to get out of bed any easier in the morning. And when you've been eating cereal the way he eats cereal for as long as he's been eating cereal, I'm sure that's not going to change. So, next on this is...
I hope they get back in time from their trip. I know.
Going with the theme of all your extra time, you do have a lot of friends around that, they know you quite well, and I think Bob Wagner was going to come up and maybe with Mary, they make a little presentation and have a few words to say to you. Because we know you have lots of extra time.
Yeah, I'm like Don. I'm a man of few words and I get right to the point. I won't bore you.
Wait a minute. What'd you say?
Just like Don.
Oh my gosh, small print.
I'm not going to read all this because it'll take him a while. This is a list I have down the house. A couple of things, keep him busy a while. And here's this is a progress report that Mary will keep on him. So you can She'll be the supervisor on the job, Don.
You sure you're not passing this off from you to me?
I think you're going to have a lot of time on your hands.
You gotta remember, Bob still works for a living.
You're all right, man. I mean, you really look after your eyes. You take good care of them. Don't say much for your eyes. Blacktop the driveway. What about my house?
Fair time, Don. The way you always handled it. Well, like Mr. Wagner said, Dad's a man who gets right to the point. So the last little story we have here has to do with a 75th birthday party that they had for Grandmom Gardner. And I understand that Charles had decided that he would MC it, basically, and during this, then give Dad a chance to stand up there and say a few words. Well, they had it all kind of worked out to where the candles would be lit at a particular time, and is it true the candles burned down to nothing?
Well, the fact of the matter is the candles snuffed out in the ivy and the dedicated waitress passed out from smoking.
So most of these stories that are going around are basically pretty true. Well, the next one is by one of your favorite son-in-laws, Gary Spears, and he has a few things to talk about your spare time also.
Well, I always get blamed for what everyone decided to do. Unison here. And just to give you a bit of history about the soon-to-be-finished basement, which was started, what, 1937. And to date, the progress report is 2x4s framed on one wall. I think that's one swing every, 18 months in the nail, I'm not sure. But the real reason for we would consider it slow, Don would consider that a normal pace in the development of the framing and the finishing of this basement. The main reason has been, frankly, the water leakage. And in a heavy rain, you go down there and you do have a problem. The frogs can't quite handle it, frankly, but his plans are very, very dramatic. So we thought, well, now with retirement, I know things are going to accelerate, but just to play it safe, we wanted to get him started out with some furniture for the basement, which we know, of course, will be finished by our standards, maybe not quite as fast, but by his standards, maybe pretty fast. And we thought we'd just give him some furniture for the basement that he can use. And Don, if you'd come on up here. Well, this is, a lot of people went out everywhere. This is very, very, it says back there, it's very valuable basement furniture and clothes here. In fact, it's expensive too, so. That's fragile, that's south of France, that's not.
That must be telling you something. Yeah, whenever you thought the story had been so long.
Don, we'll put all those under your thumb, too.
We wanted you to open it while the sun was shining.
Hey, speed it up with your tire.
We felt this would be the most appropriate furniture for his basement.
That suits you, Margaret.
Good, Dad.
Clean up your mess.
Well, I can see one thing. We got enough for visitors.
No.
Don't blow them up, Don. We'll have fun.
But I promise you one thing, I'm going to finish that baseball.
Well, we got a couple other stories here to go along with it. I know that this is a little bit different, but you know there were certain rules around this house that were to be followed, and no question about it. And that was at 4:30 in the afternoon, the bathroom will be clear. I mean, you know, whether you need to go out and you need to find the woods or whatever you need to find, it will be clear. That you know, Dad, after he finished with the bathroom, would crawl into an easy chair and go to sleep. And with all the kids running around, another rule was just don't wake him up. If you want the rest of the evening to go all right, just don't wake him up. But, you know, to help me out with this, we got Bill is going to
Give him a
things put together here for to talk about Dad, I'm sure in a very positive way.
Come on, Bill. Bill lifesaver.
Where is Bill?
There he is. Right there. Hurry up.
Excuse me, Bill. Put this on your tongue and when it melts, stop.
Well, listen, I'm supposed to tell you to give you a glimpse into the future. I'm supposed to give you a glimpse into the future of what retirement life is going to be. And you know, over the past year or 6 months or so, you ask him even about whether he's going to retire or not. Long-winded non-answer. So, how are you going to find out what he expects their plans to do in his retirement when he won't even answer whether he's going to retire or not? So, anyway, I was thinking about that, and you know, it just didn't sound right. You know, this guy has never done an impulsive thing in his life, so he must have planned something. He must be planning for his retirement. So I decided I was going to find whatever it was, wherever his plans were, I was going to find it. So, basically a low-down person, I decided to go to his bedroom and find wherever it was. It had to be in there. It has to exist. Well, I was looking and looking. I spent an hour and a half in there looking. I tell you what, pretty boring. Much in there. So I found the one drawer, the important drawer, his underwear drawer. The guy has a lock on it. I had to pick the lock and get in his underwear drawer. And I found Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, all nicely laid, neatly laid out. And that was one of the things my mother always did for him, was, you know, along with having his lunch packed ready for work, napping me cleared at 4:30, having lots of kids around, having clean underwear in his drawer. So anyway, this drawer was neatly laid out, but in the back corner there was a special section of it that do not use until after April 20th, 1988. I tell you, it was pretty amazing when I found it.
No.
I'm not sure what all this means. Maybe you can help me out.
I didn't know you had money.
I had to run pretty quick, so all thrown into it. I think this little notes that went with this, I think it's just his sketch. He's getting ready to send this to the printers. You know, his ideas are laid out here.
You can wear that to the dance.
Hey, I got that back. Which the guy's trying to... Actually, there's several of those in there. This right here is Margaret's job drawing. Job drawing. Open that up.
Three-legged, John.
Practical to me. It's an order for hats and shirts, and it's just like he's working on that. Suggestions down. I'm going golfing. I'll do it tomorrow. I'm going golfing today. I'll do it tomorrow. I'm going fishing today. I'll do it tomorrow. I'm going skateboarding today. This stuff is in his underwear. How about this? Now, actually, I never realized he was so sentimental, but I'm sure you're very familiar with his nuts and bolts collection downstairs. Well, he has some very special ones. His nuts and bolts hobby collection, special pieces, mint condition. This looks like it's taking a beating. It's a flyer for dance lessons. Learn to dance to the music of U2, Madonna, Johnny Meets Jazz. Who are they? This is, well, there are a couple of notes attached. Actually, this is just, I didn't know he wrote so many notes. This says, pick up Maureen and Ronnie after school.
No, but I am.
Well, this one came originally, I guess my mother gave it to him. It had this little note attached to it.
Designing in the 40s.
It says, Don, this sounds like an interesting idea, Mark. And he's got a note on it that says, things to do. Read this soon. I think that's a little dusty to me. Soap opera digest. Oh, we got one more of these. You know, I really didn't realize he was so sentimental. You know, this nice tin can here says American Can Company, 1949, mint condition.
You want to know the whole collection?
And this one had, there was nothing written on or anything, but I assumed in line with that, you know, his years at American Standard. Underwear drawer. He's in the garbage. Right. Well, you know, his third and last job, this is Naval Research and Development. There was, you know, I've heard stories about different pieces of it, but or not really understanding what he's always talking about. I think it's the Silent Sub Project or something like that. Metal shavings he keeps in this. He did such a good job. You know, it's so quiet you can't even hear it. And it's so secret you can't even see it. But that's his, and the diary. I think Megan had something to do with it. George Jetson living live in concert. Kids got it. And just to let you know what you're in for a little later, these are some of the notes he jotted down for his retirement speech. I know that there's a few other friends and family members that are just waiting to roast on, so Charles, you want to start it off?
My God.
Yeah, I would know what to say to follow this one.
Anything.
Hey, Charles. You always like that.
Go back and sit down.
Well, as I was sitting here trying to think of some of the things we've been through, and some of the funny things. One of the funniest things that was, to me, was the funniest thing, and I think it was to Bob Gardner, is we worked with you in baseball with the little ones for a long time. In the first 3 or 4 years, the Don Gardner philosophy was, we don't care if we lose, we don't care if the kids can't play ball, we don't care if they make errors, and if a single turns into a run, we really don't care about that, just so the kids have a good time and learn the fundamentals of baseball. And we went along this way for about 3 years, and everybody's sitting there, and Elberton would just get the hell kicked out of them every time we played. Even some of the smaller teams that had just come into the league would beat up on us. And we were to push over for the whole damn league. And we were playing in a county-wide league. We weren't playing in no damn inner neighborhood leagues. And I remember this. We went one year, we had a pretty good ball club. And we started out with trying to teach them to back up third, and back up first, and back up home, and all the fundamentals of baseball. And we're sitting there, and I think we were playing 7. And we had just opened up our new field. And we were really starting to put Elberton on the map. And we were in the first inning, and Severin got up. Kid got a little dribbler down to the shortstop. And Bob and I have been putting up with this damn philosophy. And of course, Don's gentle, and I'm aggressive, and Bob's somewhat aggressive, and we wanted a good ball club, and we had good talent. And this little old shortstop bent down, and the ball dribbled through him without left field. And Don said, "That's okay, that's all right." And Bob jumped off the seat and said, "No, damn it!" And from then on, we started getting a pretty good baseball team. Do you remember that? Huh? And the only other thing I got to tell about Don that I think is kind of funny is we all didn't have a lot of money, and we all had a lot of kids. And I probably had the worst house of them all. I didn't even have a basement to even worry about finishing. And we didn't have much, and we had a lot of kids, and we had them shoved into 3 or 4 rooms. And one day Don came down and said, "You know, maybe you ought to build an addition." And I said, "Gee, I'm not much with a hammer and nail. I wouldn't even know how to start." Don says, "Don't worry about it. I've got a consultant I'm going to bring in." So Carmichael came down as a special consultant. And Carmichael says, "Gee, I don't know. You know the best thing to do is just tear this damn thing down and build a new house." And I said, "That's great, George, but what do I do in the meantime with all these kids?" But I want to thank George and Don for giving me that advice, because I built a new house over there, which you haven't seen yet, Carmichael.
Oh, yes, I have.
Have you been over there?
You just forgot.
Okay. Anyway, there's some of the fond memories I have, and all the nights we used to talk about how we would run the world, how we would solve all the world problems, how we could defeat communism and just about anything else with that old stinking pipe going all the time. Happy retirement, Don.
Right, Mark.
Give him one lifesaver.
I got him fucking. I learned from Don, you don't talk. Don't ask for money. I don't have a prepared speech, because I don't know how to roast Don, because Don's been a damn good neighbor. He's been a damn good friend. And it's hard for me to talk about Don, because he has been a true friend. He's the one that got me tied down to that park. And I missed 20 minutes of the roast up at the park, Don. But Don got me involved in community affairs, especially with the Little League about 15 years ago. And I can't get out of it. And I think Don's getting back in it deeper and deeper, because he's got grandchildren now in the program. And I'm working, we're working on getting the younger people in the neighborhood. But just the one story that really sticks into my mind about Don and his family is about 6 years ago. I guess it was about 6 years ago. One Saturday morning, Don and Margaret decided they were going to go down to Point Lookout for Memorial Day weekend, I believe it was. Saturday morning, 7 o'clock or 6:30, some crazy time on a Saturday morning. I hear all this banging and sawing and going on. I said, what the heck's going on up in Garden? They're away for the weekend. So I walk on up there, and there they are. All the sons and all the son-in-laws up here taking Don's roof off. Unbeknownst to Don. And for that entire weekend, I saw how a real true family can get together and work. Because those fellas really busted their rear end.
Non-relatives there, too.
Yeah, and there were some non-relatives. But
They put it back on, didn't they?
they put it back on. And I mean, they had fun. Too. And all the daughters and the daughter-in-laws were over here to feed them all.
Pick up their trash.
There was a serious injury. Poor Jeff Crespo got a T-square in the back.
Go ahead, do it again.
Somebody hand me the T-square. Boomerang over the roof. When Sunday or Monday when Don came home from his camping trip, I saw a grown man cry because I mean he was so proud. He was so proud of what his sons and son-in-laws, his daughters and daughter-in-laws had accomplished over that weekend, and it made me feel, boy, that's why you have big families, and that's
he really cried because he didn't know what it was going to cost him.
But Don, it's been 20 pleasurable years living next to you. I hope it's another 20 or 30 or 40. You've been a good neighbor and a great friend, a real great friend. I can always count on him for a piece of candy at the football game, soccer game. Good friend, good neighbor, Don. Hope you be around a long time. Really enjoy your time. Thank you very much. That's perfect time. I don't want Fred to leave here.
Oh.
This is your day. This is your day.
I've got to say something about Fred. Everything he said, I can reciprocate the same way, in the same words. But for 15 years, Fred has grown more and more involved. In the last 10 years, he's been running the recreation program down here, facing a lot of the frustrations with Bob and Charles, Mr. Font, and I did in the early years. Taking it on, just watching it grow in a real good organization. And I think Fred deserves a hand for all his extra effort.
We have a... Got your night Oh, I'm sorry, John. I was supposed to give you your gift.
Oh, did you?
There you go. Oh, you're going to die.
Some people come into our lives and make footprints on hearts, and we are changed, never the same again. You are one of these people who love you, your friends, Fred and Diane. All right. Thank you. There we go. After my own heart. I love them. They know that how I feel about being out in the woods. And the fact that I probably would have liked to have been in natural history in some way involved, but I didn't have enough sense to know what it was all about. And then as I think back on my life, gee whiz, had I had I gotten involved in what I take so much pleasure in now, I I probably wouldn't be taking that place. Thank you very much.
Okay. Annie Lane would like to say something. You guys hang on just a second.
Oh my God.
What kind of fertilizer do you use?
You know where you get it.
Need water, Donald. Need water. Yeah. Well, I'm pretty good on what you do.
That's too pretty to take
I'm
apart.
pretty good at artificial,
I
lot of
know.
these artificial trees and getting production out of them.
Read the name today. This is who it's from. No. Just read them.
I'm a choose first, then.
Zach and Peggy, Darren Vaughn, Pat Sharon, and Mary Hollis.
Your bonanza money tree. These bonsai money trees will flourish or as the flowers are taken apart and used for your enjoyment. Any temperature is compatible. Each flower was pleated and formed with loving care and given to you by your family in honor of your retirement. We all wish you many happy and healthy years. Thank you very much.
And if I could have a note, but I'm not used to speaking. First time I met Morgan Donald, I was 16 years old. And you made me think of it in the afternoon. Well, I'm from the city. And in 1951, this was the country. No street lights, no roads. And I started dating a young fella that was the older brother. And riding, getting darker, and like, I'm wondering what's going to happen. So we finally pulled into a little house. Like I said, we were nervous. And I sat and chatted while we were being introduced. And nature called. I asked for his mail. The next thing I can remember was Donald Lamar. He came out with a flashlight. I said, I'll say, come on with me. Right, half did have a key. That was my first meeting.
Is that three-door or post-door?
It has been a long and happy Joanne, did you hear that? Wherever
Did you see that house too?
Got a few gifts there, Dad.
Oh, I've got the slugging expos up here, I see.
Yeah, expos.
Cheerleaders.
It'll take you long. I'm so excited.
We're wishing you all the best things that bring pleasure into your world and warmth into your heart, the things that make you feel good about life and about yourself, the special things that give you happy moments today and happy memories tomorrow. Best wishes, Elaine and Bob. They didn't end up here. I've got a gift certificate from Packager. Wait a minute now, wait a minute.
Just saying, technically, you got a channel on there.
I'd like to keep it together. A little something to get you started, and all these do-it-yourself projects you never had time to do before. I really appreciate it. Those of you that know Bob and Elaine know they're fine people. What's we doing down there, kiddo? Huh? Oh, what's that you? You weren't back? Okay. Keep me straight.
I guess. Here comes the tasty breeze, man.
Oh my God.
How would the people go? Keep going, will you? You might have hit the Jake,
Each happiness of yesterday is a memory for tomorrow.
Boy, have you changed?
Here comes the mailman.
Keep going.
Nothing better looking at him.
Must be very happy and very proud today.
She went like this. Throw them on the
Good luck.
You threw them on. Went off crying.
She got frustrated.
Hey, Mark, come on up here.
How you doing?
No, we
I don't know why the Sand Hill. I'm up here by the
What?
What does that say?
Wait, I must be a terrible golfer because everybody's trying to help me out. George, you've got to look at it. If we ever get on the golf course, I'm probably going to tear you up.
Pretty good.
Somebody over here is having a hard time. So let me get these little guys. Huh?
You gotta flash around those kids' faces.
Okay, Donnie.
The Grandad, love Eric. Spring made a retirement card for me. I don't know. Where is Eric? A retirement card. Extra. Little girl.
I know what things
Wishing you all the things that bring pleasure into your world, warmth into your heart, the things that make you feel good about yourself, about life and about yourself, the special things that seem to be happening today, happy memories tomorrow. Dear Dad, we're so proud of you.
feel sorry for me.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Yeah. That was the punishment you had to go through. I wasn't right because my lip wasn't. I wasn't.
Last ending was brutal.
Changed from brutal to beautiful.
That's the one I gave you.
You'd like to take that.
I don't know what to do.
Well, I took it thinking maybe I did all
I think it's called needle. That's correct.
And then we moved. Well, haven't you ever had a garage sale? Yeah, as a matter of fact, it wouldn't go.
We'll $4, $3, take it.
You mind if somebody else can use it? No.
Retirement is time to consider with pride the achievements you've worked for and earned, to realize all of the ways you have grown and to treasure the lessons you've learned. Retirement is time to remember so fondly the good times you've had in the past, a time to appreciate people you've known and feel certainty that those friendships will last. Retirement is time to be fully aware of the promise that life brings your way, to believe in your dreams, to follow your rainbow, to celebrate each new day. And it was stitched by Debbie.
Don't give him a knife or a microphone.
All right, I'll go out.
We're done.
Make one every morning before
there was a lot of us like
every night before they go to bed.
the black lady was separate. She does. And what Joe said,
Finally arrived, they get paid to go to the board of fishing, hunting, golf, gardening, traveling, dating, partying,
you gotta get them, you gotta keep them.
or to get their life may be some they just wonder how you ever get out of
People sitting there, and they can't be playing games, and they don't pay attention to what's going on. You can't do that. Yeah, I wouldn't say that. I mean, a lot of guys change it with power and all that.
For today, you may have the satisfaction of a job well done make this occasion a happy one. Future, you may each year of retirement hold still more happiness for the year before.
I'd take graduation aside. You got to practice early before the game. Work on it. He'd wait for that ball. But he's going after the ball. He's got to keep him away and then pull through the ball. He's going to hit home run. It's just a matter of getting timing down. I don't know how old he is. He looks like he's 17. But he's working.
Get that on film.
Did you get that from yesterday?
$100.
Well, hey, after the
Dear Don, congratulations. They tell us
he was bad.
now is way back in the joy. But just in case you finish up all Mark has lined up. Apparently she has lined up. We're encouraging a little list of things indeed. We expect to start next week. This is with reference to the note you gave Bob.
On the way down, that's when she ate it. Yeah. She's like, yeah, a little bit.
I got another check here. Thank you very much, Rita. Nice card.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to read the card saying,
Yeah, read it.
there's a season for beginning when the world is fresh and new, and when we shape our dreams of all the things we plan and hope to do. A season for maturing when we think and work and grow, and a season for the harvesting of all we've come to know. And each successful season grows still richer than its past, as praises of the present are added to the past. When I go looking for a card for somebody, it may not be beautiful, but it's what I wanted to say. I'd be disappointed if they didn't read the darn thing.
You hold that check a couple weeks.
Hey, Joe. Now, you in your place until you get done reading.
Look at the date on it.
Check both days, by the way.
Playing no game. Lincoln, watch out. He ain't even had 3 or 4.
As you look back upon the years,
A lot different than last year, isn't it, Ian? Still lost. Yeah, you gotta lose before you can win. Right? Not really. Yeah, but still brutal. Of the one game that's been on TV, I decided not to watch it. I understand that people in Chicago were saying,
Dad, for your radical, you stop. I don't even know what
great shortstop.
remember my family that keeps
Are you kidding me? And they asked him, what I've heard today.
Years subscription to the lotto.
People in Chicago are rooting the Orioles.
Virtues that you are allowed to do and those that
Everything you say. I mean, Las Vegas might not be involved in that. They're going to look. I can't do any better.
Anybody else have any more roasting to do? Otherwise, we got more food, and then we have Dad right now to say something. And
I got it.
Wait a minute. Are you going to talk? Are you going to talk?
Well,
Are you going to talk? Get some lights out here.
just sit back down, Mr. Morris. I was just about Mr. Morris slipped a check to me here after all the work that he and his
Bring out the
done designing this building for a park. He comes along and gives me a check, too.
Probably bound.
I'm not sure what these guys are going to do. They have,
Hi, Dave.
How you doing, Doc?
these two guys have something they're going to do for you.
Lamp. Where's Walt? Joe, you're killing the grass, man. You know what happens when dogs kill your bush. When a brown fuck you don't worry about. Either that or grab a girl like hell.
This is our present gift.
Oh yeah, what Joe Rock was. There's old corn style down there.
You'll smell like a real pro-black dog. You know, this stuff is so popular around the house. I only had to wait to put the dust off.
These are our grandchildren. They're a good start. But I'm really proud of them. I'm telling you, all of them. Where are they? Where are they? Oh, they're all up.
There's the dirt. There's the cow pasture down there. Come on, slice the tires on your car. There's the rugrat.
Joe,
Hey, Carmichael. Carmichael, do you remember the time you bought the chickens in your home for fertilizer? Huh?
Melissa lying in the grass. Dad, will you finish now?
Tell it again.
Michael.
somebody tell Kenny it wasn't just wet.
Yeah, it was more than a wet one. It was raining and got a bag. That'll teach him.
There he is. He was filling his arm around.
Hey, Don. Don, you remember the weekend we raised Carmichael's roof?
Yeah. I remember the weekend was so hick.
Wait a minute. Go into a little detail about that one. I want to hear that story. Camera wasn't on, Don. Go ahead and start that one over again.
I hate to tell you, but I
heard that story the other day. We were talking about that the other day.
Hey, Don.
Look, this is a press conference. The last thing he needs is a bunch of questioners. I'd love for Hexel to be here. I'd like to hear that story of taking that in.
I can't get my wife out of here, but I do want to say I've received Nice breakfast.
Are you cold? You better cover those ears, Mom, so you don't get a hearing.
That's what it is. Joey. Joey. Hey, how you doing there? Hey.
Children make that all fine. All the details. Party! But the point I wanted to make, whatever, I feel guilty. All the phrases, good words, gifts that have been bestowed on me simply because I'm getting what I want anyway. I think I sure made a bad mistake. But all these things that have been able to accomplish or been given credit for, none was by me alone. And maybe very little of it by me. It was the support of my wife, and children that we have, my friends, my co-workers, everybody around that I've been in contact with has helped me in my life and accomplish the things that are most important to me. And I want to thank all of you for being part of it and for making this a very special couple of days. Thank you.
Now we start the roast.
The lightsaber is dissolved, okay?
You thought that was bad. Everybody got all Richard ever since.
Carmichael.
What the name of hell is that?
You didn't wear your apron. Put this in your pocket.
And then the one coat comes That's the guy who's back. Maybe it was all first kind of blue coat and match.
I said, you can't get out of here. Your bird's there, you know. We ought to